It's Betting the Beast Show. We're back 2 years later. I'm James and I'm joined by...
Bree?
If you remember Bree, she's done 2 episodes before. She's back. It's been, I don't know, two or 3 years.
Long time.
Where have you been, Bree, since you came in?
I've been to Melbourne and back. Been back for a couple of years now, so it must have been 3 years at least. So.
And you were training to be an ambulance driver back then?
I was probably still training, yeah. I was probably just about to graduate. And then I graduated as a paramedic, moved to Melbourne, worked and lived there for a year, and now I'm back in Perth permanently, hopefully.
So you're a full-on pro?
Yeah.
So if you've got any questions about emergencies... this is Betting the Beast, where it's like an agony auction show. You can send us questions. I think the email address is askbetty@jimmerishfm.com, or if you go to askbetty.jimmerishfm.com in your browser, goes to a page which has the email address, and there's a little anonymous form where you can send stuff anonymously if you don't want to share your email address with us. But we haven't done the show in a lot of time, but I still get questions sent in. So I've got a backlog of questions we've got to get through. Now, do you want to just get into it?
Yeah, let's see. Let's check out the first question.
This is via email. askbetty@jimmerishfm.com. And this is from James T. Dear Betties, I am to start dating... I'm already thrown off. I am to start dating after several years and have never liked condoms. I was wondering if there was a nice method or way I might ask my date, of course not the first time, to go to the clinic with me for blood tests on the way to dinner or wherever we might be going. Bree, what do you think?
Well, James...
If a guy asked you on the way to dinner to go to the clinic and get a blood test, what would your action be?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be having dinner with that person. Strangely enough, as weird as this sounds, I actually heard, a similar sort of story the other day about someone who had the same sort of prerequisite that they didn't like to use condoms and preferred for all their dates to get blood tests before seeing them any further. But I have the same reaction now as I did then, and I find it quite disgusting. Is there a nice method or way you could ask your date? On the way to dinner, I would probably suggest is not the best way to start. If you're going to have to ask eventually, maybe when it's closer to the time of becoming intimate, and I think maybe a mutual sharing of health might be an acceptable conversation, but I would tread very carefully. I find it quite offensive.
But at some point, you would have to have that discussion, right?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I'm sure most people would before they have unsafe sex. But yeah, starting to date someone, it sounds like he's talking about on their first date or on the way to the date. And I think, I think that the gentleman should be prepared to wear a condom with ladies he might be dating. And if it gets to a serious relationship stage, I think that's when it comes into health checks. That's the reward
of having a serious relationship.
That's right. Yeah, you can't just expect everything on the first date.
No, not every day's Christmas.
Sorry, James, might not be everything you wanted to hear for that question, but...
Oh, it's not me. Oh,
no, the other James asking the question.
James
T.
He did provide his last name, but I thought I'd not read it out.
Probably a good idea for his dating future.
I think I agree with you. This one came in. It was quite simple. This is from the email. It just says, "Would I be rich soon?" From Japism, and he specified that as how he wanted to be called, Japism. I don't know how to pronounce that, but
not giving us a lot to go on based on his question today. But I would hope he would be richer than he is now. Most people tend to improve as life goes on. I hope so. That's got to be my best answer.
Do you ever sit at night thinking, am I going to be rich soon?
Every day.
Every day.
I've been buying lots of lotto tickets, and I've just been...
There's a mega draw coming up. What was that last weekend?
20 million Oz Lotto tonight.
Oh, wow.
And I've just been...
So you could be a millionaire. Have you checked your tickets?
No.
I could be sitting next to a millionaire.
That's such a horrible moment when you check your ticket. Every time I'm standing there in front of the lotto guy scanning my ticket, and I'm like, you would so disappointed, but you don't want to show it.
World.
Yeah. So that potential is just gone in a heartbeat.
what would you do? What would be the first sort of major purchase you would make if you did win the 20 mil?
Oh, I'd definitely go shopping. My wardrobe is severely lacking at the moment.
Just buy simple things like clothes.
Yeah. Just massive shopping spree clothes. I would probably pay off my mortgage. Would you try and race,
like get a shopping cart and see how fast can I spend this $1 million?
No, I'd take my time. Okay. I would. Would you quit your job? I don't think so. No, I think I need to do something to keep me interested. Yeah. You know, at this stage in life, $1 million wouldn't go too far. 20 million would go pretty far, and you could do a lot with it. Would you go like
part-time, so you have extra long weekend?
I would try, but I don't know how work would.
Oh, really?
Do
they
that.
don't have part-time?
I think you've got to squeeze out a baby or two before you can get that gig.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But definitely a lot of really expensive overseas holidays and paying off my mortgage, maybe buying another house, helping my friends and family out with their mortgages, and I could spend it easily.
Would you put any way to save, like invest?
I'd probably ask someone who knows something about that to do something for me.
I drive past the lotto shop every day at work, so I know where it is just in case. You know, Christmas coming up, I'm going to get a bunch of tickets. I'm going to be ready to know. Just go straight there.
Well, these people who win lotto, they buy tickets. I figure that's what I've got to do, is buy tickets.
This is true. I very rarely buy tickets. Like I bought for that huge one because it's just like everyone wanted to be part of it, and I was at the shopping centre. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just grab it because all the stories are like, oh yeah, I just bought it the last second. Just thought, oh yeah, what not?
Yeah.
And I just won 50 mil, and I'm like, oh god, I would change the world with $50 million.
Wow.
You don't hear about these people who win lotto going, this person changed the world.
Yeah, I'm not that philanthropic, I guess. I would change my world, and then everyone else's that I could as well.
Yeah, the people around. This is from Huggy Bear. Again, this was asked because what you can do, if you do email us, you can give us a pseudonym to go under. So, because we don't want to read out the name from your email address. So, this is from Huggy Bear. What is the protocol, if any, to building a relationship with a recent widow to bring her into a long-term relationship? I met a lady whose husband died 2 years ago. I really enjoy being with her and want to be first a friend and hopefully a companion, and then hopefully romantic involvement will follow. Evolvement, he says? Like it will evolve into romance? I think he meant
involvement, yeah. Maybe evolve. It could evolve.
I understand she is fragile and maybe need time to consider a new partner of any kind. Do you have any suggestions?
I think Huggy Bear has, in the way he's worded the question, has outlined a really good technique, becoming a friend first and hopefully a companion, and then...
But then what if you get stuck on the friends ladder?
You don't want to get stuck in the friend zone, but you want to, as a friend and then the companion, you'll be able to get an idea of where she's at and when she's ready, and just try and gauge any signals, whether she's also interested in you, whether she's ready. I mean, 2 years sounds like a reasonable time frame to consider looking for more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think being a friend is your best bet, and then just working out how she's feeling, judging that, and offering your companionship. Hopefully she takes that as a romantic option and something can come of it.
I think dealing it is a sin. Do you I mean, you probably deal with people who have lost people. Do you ever get any follow up? Do you ever hear about what happens to people who've lost?
We don't really. I mean, not like we're often there in the moment that someone passes, or in the moments immediately afterwards. The grief stage, and the 2 years after losing someone is going to be different for everyone, I guess. And we really don't get an insight into that. But, there's so many things to consider, whether there's children, the circumstances of the partner dying. There's a lot of things to take into consideration. I wouldn't like to say go for it right now. I think becoming a friend and just trying to listen to her and see where she's at. See what you think based on the signals that you're getting from her. Sounds like a good way to go.
This is going to be weird, but I do sort of sometimes daydream about this situation. Because I feel like sometimes you have to give them space because they want to go get freaky to just F the pain away.
Right. Some people could definitely react like that.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get stuck in that freaky rebound phase.
Yeah, you don't want to be the rebound.
I don't know how freaky it gets, but certainly, I don't know about someone dying, but certainly someone newly single, you know, they definitely probably want to try things that they haven't been able to do for a while, or, you know, just break out of the relationship lifestyle that they've been in. But I wouldn't really imagine a partner of someone that has died to certainly act out like that,
But if you're already kind of friends with it, it's always good to just be supportive, just be ultra helpful, but then make sure you give them enough space so they start to, you know, was it absent makes the heart grow fonder, so don't be with them all the time because they just get sick of you.
Yeah.
But be really helpful, then sort of drift off a bit, and then they go, oh, well, I missed you, you know. You know, keep them, treat them mean, keep them game, whatever.
Yeah, a lot of guys win with that one. I think the other thing to consider is that, you know, some people, when something really bad happens in their lives, they try not to mention it because they don't want to hurt someone. But like a lot of the time, if you're a good friend and you ask genuinely and directly how they're feeling about it, how are you feeling about your husband passing? Do you still think about it every day? Do you miss him? Do you want to move on? There's nothing wrong with being direct and asking those questions. Sometimes I think people complain that they get this coldness from the people around them because people are too awkward to ask how people are going and to mention something tragic that's happened in their lives.
Well, thanks, Huggy Bear, for writing in. I mean, he has been dead for 2 years, so
2 years is a fair amount of time. I think it's reasonable to.
And it doesn't say if there's any kids involved.
No,
and that's one of the harder things. Or maybe it's the easy thing, like get along with the kids, and she'll dig it.
I'm not sure about the kids thing. Can't offer any insight there.
Yeah, thanks for writing. This is an anonymous question from Formspring. If you want to send us an anonymous question, email free. You can go to askbetty.jimishfam.com, or the link will be in the show notes if you have a podcast player that has show notes in it. And or just look for, I think our username on Formspring is Betty Beast, or one word. And so we get a few anonymous questions, and this is one that's kind of interesting. Where I live, people don't accept me because I'm bisexual. Girls don't want to date me because it would be awkward. What do I do, especially considering that most people know? Now, we picked up pre-show that they didn't say what side of the sex fence they're on. Is that even a phrase?
I don't know if that's a phrase. But I get the impression that this is a male. Girls not wanting to date me because it would be awkward sounds like normally he could, you know, a male could date girls without it being awkward. So if I assume that he's a male, my best advice is that he's probably surrounding himself with the wrong people. A lot of people these days, you know, very accepting of lesbian, gay, bisexual. So, you know, if the people in your immediate surrounds aren't accepting of that, then maybe you need to just venture out further, perhaps get a group of friends which are, you know, comfortable with your bisexuality. You need to meet girls that are going to be comfortable with exactly who you are. There's no point dating someone that's not going to be okay with you. Being bisexual doesn't mean that you have to like both at the same time. So if you choose to date a girl, then you don't need to be looking at sleeping with guys at the same time or anything like that. So I would just look at each potential relationship on its own and just live day to day. I don't think if you're focusing so much on the lack of acceptance around you, and if that's a big issue, then I think that needs to be fixed by finding a group of supportive friends, or just speaking to your friends and saying, look, this is who I am and I want you to accept me. From there on, it's just finding someone that you connect with, male or female, someone that you can be yourself with and feel accepted.
Sometimes, I mean, this is a major generalization, but when you say where I live, like, you know, there are obviously, like in Australia, we have sort of left-wing areas and right-wing areas, and, you know, like in Perth, we live in Perth, Western Australia. Like, you probably want to check out the scene in Fremantle or Northridge, and, you know, if you're thinking of getting a move, like move to an area, if that's something you're looking for a change, move to an area where there is a culture of that, where people just like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and I mean,
but then don't give up and and let the other people over dominate you by making you feel weird, because you're not. You just. And everyone has different tastes in things. And I
responded to this question just assuming that they were from Australia and Perth as well. But this person could be from a country where it's not as accepted, or a conservative, religious small town somewhere or something like that. So, I mean, it might be easy for me to say, find people that do accept you. It might be a little bit harder where this person's from, but certainly I think he needs to be true to himself and meet someone that he connects with on a personal level, regardless of sexual orientation.
Sometimes,
gender.
And there's also the option of just claiming it, like
owning it.
Yeah, owning it, because sometimes it's all mental.
Yeah.
I don't want to we really need someone who is bisexual and to talk about it. Because we don't want to send people off some deep end where they're, because we don't know where you live. We need more context. Provide more context.
I think the question indicates that this person isn't at the stage where they can own it. They
also
might
the
be
internet.
At a developmental stage where...
Check out the internet, because there's always...
Just be careful what you Google search, though.
Yeah. Well, thanks for writing in, Anonymous, on Form Screen. This is quite a long one. Dear Betty, a few years ago I started working for a local business. I immediately fell in love with the job. The people I work with are so fun to be around, and I enjoy going to work every day. I'm 19 years old. There's an older 25-year-old guy who also works there. I'll admit I've had a huge crush on him from the first day I started working. He gave me a kind of flirtatious attention that I never really got from any other guy before. He was never creepy or weird at all, just very funny and always makes me feel good about myself. He has a great personality, and when he comes into work, everyone is suddenly happy. However, he has been talking to me a lot outside of work recently, and he suggested that he and I should have a sexual yet casual relationship. I told him I didn't think it was a good idea, and now work has been awkward. I like this guy a lot and would seriously consider dating him, but that's obviously not what he wants. It's hard to say no to a guy that you have feelings for, but I know he doesn't have the same feelings for me. I just don't know how to handle this situation. Is this guy a creep? I like being around him, but should I try to avoid him now? Love, flirty worker.
Oh, there's a few things in this question. Firstly, I think she's right to have said she didn't think it was a good idea. If she's got feelings for him, then she's not going to get any gratification from a sexual, casual relationship. One thing I would suggest is possibly if she does like this guy, she could say, I did find you attractive and I do like you in that way, but a casual relationship is not really what I'm after. See if his feelings, potentially go further than that. But the impression that I get, guys like this generally, until they meet someone who's going to change them, they're generally going to be just looking for those casual relationships, probably not just with her.
Don't want to commit.
And yeah, I mean, not necessarily a creep, but probably not boyfriend material at this stage.
Yeah. And it's they work together, right? So.
Yeah, so it's going to be hard to avoid him, but
it possibly even more awkward if you go through of it and then it goes to crap as it likely will.
You never want to start a sexual, casual relationship with a workmate, and especially if you like them, you're just going to end up getting hurt.
Yeah.
Certainly, there's stories of people who can have casual relationships with no feelings involved, but from the outset, she said she really starts liking him, and I can't see it ending well at all. I think as much as you can, either just keep it friendly and happy at work and try to make it less awkward, or tell him, I really like you and I'd consider something more serious, but casual relationship's not what I'm after.
Just say casual relationships, deal breaker.
There's a time and a place, and I don't think she's at that place.
Yeah, it's always awkward. Like, I remember in this one job I was propositioned, and I didn't, for that reason, if she was some random girl, I'll be like, yeah. But yeah, it was awkward, but then it was still awkward for the next 2 years that I worked there.
Wow.
But
yeah.
But then there was fun. We could still flirt a bit,
Yeah.
It was just awkward because she felt really rejected, and I'm just like, well, it's not really. Yeah. These things are always hard, aren't they?
Yeah. I must admit, I mean, yeah, workmates, Christmas parties and staff drinks and all those sort of things. One proposition can leave years and years of awkwardness between two people, and it's really not appropriate if, I don't know that relationships do start from the workplace, but if you don't know that the other person has any reciprocal feelings, then propositioning someone out of the blue like that, it's going to make them feel awkward. And it's, you're bordering on all those sexual harassment areas of workplace that you just don't want to go there.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, so flirty worker, good luck with that one.
Let us know how it goes. If you are, the thing is, this question was sent in 2 years ago, so they probably lost interest in us. But if 2 years in the future you listen to this, let us know how it went. This is from. This may be from email, I can't remember, but Dear Betty, I have an online friend that I trust completely. He's 18 or so, and we've been the best of friends for 3 years, but lately he's been saying sexual things to me and even told me that if I visited him, he'd probably rape me. He only lives a couple of hours away. I have tried to have a relationship, but I'm really just too afraid to ever visit him. I want to be his friend without him trying to do things with me. Help from Kiki Hara. And she says her age is 36.
Wow. So we've got a 36-year-old female, I'm assuming, Kiki, who's got an online friend who's 18. They've been friends for 3 years. And he's suggesting to her that if she came and visited, he would rape her. The alarm bells are going off for me. How about you, James?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're crazy. The only way he could be defensible is I don't know what kind of online friends you'd have to be. But you've got to go on video chat and talk to him face to face because, I
don't think you have to talk to this person anymore at all. I would cease all contact. Yeah. The only way I think this is justifiable is if he was just saying in a teasing way, if I saw you, I probably wouldn't be able to help myself.
Yeah.
But you should never threaten rape, even online. She could follow this up and he could get charged. That's a threat to rape. It's not something to be taken lightly, and she needs to stop chatting with him. He's 18. He's very immature. She's 36, and she should be, spending time with people her own age, really. Sorry, Kiki.
It's, and it is one of those things that we discuss sometimes on Fanging Around, one of the other podcasts on Jim FM, where rape does get thrown around a lot. And it's not a good thing because it should be a deal breaker, but some people go, maybe he's just kidding or not being serious, or it's just, like you're saying, like an endearment thing. You just have to be careful and just say, look, I don't feel comfortable with you saying this.
Yeah, if you've never met him and you don't know how you're going to feel when you're in person with him, and on a previous occasion he's threatened to rape you, all the boxes have been crossed off. You should never have anything more to do with him.
I'm sure there's plenty of other online friends out there who
there's heaps of other freaks to get to know out there.
I'm not sure how many questions we want to do. This is from Dear Betty. This is from Army Bitch. Dear Betty, help. My boyfriend is training for the army and now he never wants sex or anything to do with coming near me. This isn't like him. He used to be all over me and constantly wanted sex. What has happened to change this and how can I fix it?
Army Bitch, that's quite a dilemma that you have. A couple of things. People who train really hard for things, whether it's the army or athletics or football, they tend to use up a lot of their energy and testosterone doing their physical training, so they can experience a lower libido.
Yeah.
There are certain supplements that you could probably take if it was really concerning to you and it was affecting your relationship. Otherwise, there's the home method. So you just put on something sexy, cook him something nice, try and put a bit more romance back into it.
Put him in the mood.
I definitely think try to not take it personally. Talk to him about it. Tell him how it's making you feel. And yeah, hopefully it's just a passing phase and he can get his energy back up in the bedroom.
I would like, these questions I would like more detail. Like, is he going on away? Like, is he on the other side of the country in a camp doing the training? Do you distrust him at all? Could he be off?
Well, that's one thing
checking
to
consider, out the local girls, and he's lost interest in a relationship, or maybe he's found some nice fellas in the army.
These are all options. I hadn't even thought of that. Maybe he's got someone else going on.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily the first thing you need to jump to the conclusion of. I think maybe a conversation has to happen first.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly I think the training can be an explanation itself, and if not, as James mentioned, the potential other lady or man in his life. And yeah, is he far away or nearby? Or
there's also, I don't know how far he is in the army. I think post-traumatic stress can really just turn you off a whole lot of things in life.
Well, it sounds like he's just training for it, so maybe he's only just started, but lots of things to consider. So maybe for our future question askers, a bit more detail on the questions.
Another question?
Maybe he's about to break up with her.
Ooh,
sorry, army bitch. You didn't want to hear that. Have a conversation. Find out what's really going on.
One more?
Have we got any more there? Any live questions coming in from our listeners?
I haven't seen any.
What better things people have to do on a Tuesday night?
As one on Facebook, do you? Dear Betty, hello, I'm a 20 years old girl. I dated a guy 4 years ago, so when she was 16, I guess. I really loved him. We were crazy in love, but I did something wrong and he broke up with me. I felt horrible for a very long time. I lied about being pregnant to not lose him because he said to me that he needed a break. I didn't understand that and I was really in love with him, so I lied. We met after and we went out many times the previous year, but he had a girlfriend. Now he said that he want me back. Like his girlfriend, but I don't know. I love him, but does he? He said it, but I'm not sure. Does coming back to me is a proof of his love, or I'm just too easy to fool? Because these days we see each other only for sex. Please help me. It's a bit of a twist ending there that they still have sex.
Yeah, this question takes me all different places. She's a 20 years old girl. 4 years ago she dated a guy. She did something wrong then and he broke up with her.
Mm-hmm.
Then she lied about being pregnant. And then they must have broken up and they met after and went out many times. It's very confusing. But I think she needs to let this guy go. For a couple of reasons. She was with him and he was the one who made her lie to him about being pregnant. Not that he made her do it, but the person that she is when she's with him, I don't think is who she wants to be. To be so dishonest about something so serious to someone, I think is warning bells that possibly you're not good for each other.
Yeah.
It's a very confusing question.
I mean, you made the mistakes when you're 16. People do dumb stuff. It's funny how, like, when you're 20, you're like, I sort of make you realize how stupid I were. But I think he's taking advantage of you now, knowing that you feel guilty about it.
But is he coming back to her knowing that she lied about being pregnant? Because I don't think any guy would come back after that. And if he did, then maybe they can start fresh. Only if everything's on the table, though. I can't have any sympathy.
But you did lie about anything at 16?
No, I did not. Well, I'm sure I lied about some things, but I didn't lie to any boyfriends about being pregnant. I think that's such you just can't manipulate people like that. It's just blatant manipulation. And you want, the whole thing about crying wolf, you want someone to be there for you if something like that really happens. And to put them through the real emotional turmoil of thinking that they've got a girl pregnant it's so cruel. I just don't understand why you would do it. It's very selfish. And if that's still the girl she is, I don't think it's right. But if it's been 4 years and they're different and everything's on the table and they still want to try, then go for it. And good luck. Have we got another question, or are we?
Yeah, I think we'll last question. I was just thinking there's one more. Well, thanks, Itsy Bitsy.
An Itsy Bitsy question.
Last question, and this is one I sort of identify with. I was hurt in a relationship and still can't get him out of my mind. I don't want to see him because if I do, I will break down and want to sleep with him. I haven't seen him in 2 months. I suggest he don't call or see me anymore. So far, that is working. From Anonymous.
Well, Anonymous, I can identify with this as well. And yeah, it's a really fine line. You've got to know when you're ready. We don't know what caused the hurt, and who broke up with who, and what his feelings are. 2 months is a good amount of time, but it's probably not long enough to fully move on from someone if that's what you're choosing to do. Give yourself at least 6 months if you want to, stop feeling the hurt and the pain of the breakup.
Yeah.
And I think, in that time, if you decided to be apart, that not calling and not seeing each other is a good idea, because you can fall back into that intimate stage of the relationship, or those patterns that you were in where you fought or made up, or, or the back and forth that can happen.
I've had, the best success I've had is, especially, this digital aid, is I just like unsubscribe from them Facebook. Didn't block them because then they'll be like, why have you blocked me? And that you don't want them to ask questions.
Right.
So that you just don't see anything of them. I made a pact with myself never to actually, search their name and go to their page to see what they're up to. And I deleted their number from my phone and stuff like that. Deleted their messages. And I was surprised in 2 weeks I wasn't even having to fight the urge.
Yeah.
And then in a few months I'd completely, gotten over it by going to hang out with new friends or people, get a new crush. That's what I do.
So any relationship is like an addiction of some sort. So if you go cold turkey, you need to do it for, at least 3 days to get those automatic impulses, thinking about them, picking up the phone to look at their Facebook, call them, text them. And then, as you said, 2 weeks is a good amount of time to feel like you've undone those habits and those routines which involve the other person.
But then don't stop, because it might just retreat.
No, and don't stop. But you have to then start replacing those moments with something else. So whether you take up a hobby or meet someone else or, get yourself down to the gym a bit more often, you do have to fill those gaps, because it is, in a way it's grieving. It's giving up an addiction that you have to adjust to, so it's going to change your life in some ways, whether you want it to or not. And if you want to successfully get through it, then you have to fill those holes with something that's going to make you feel good and you're going to enjoy. Yep.
That sounds good. But yeah, trust me, just bit of cold turkey goes a long way. It's probably, I think I'm sure it's easy. I haven't gone cold turkey on heroin or anything, but it is surprisingly. It was easier than I thought it was. But yes, you don't want to sit around the house by yourself moping, because you
don't want to get drunk and then text on Facebook.
What's it? Idle minds are the devil's playground or something like that.
Yes. Give yourself something to do, something else to think about.
Well, thanks for writing in, Anonymous. And that's been the show. Now, make sure you remember, if you're listening to this, so we have some questions for the next episode, you can email us at askbetty@jimmishfam.com. or go to askbetty.jimmishfam.com, or just search for Betty and the Beast on the jimmishfam.com page. Or you can tweet us at jimmishfam, and you can use the Ask Betty hashtag. I'll check that. Find Jimmishfam on Facebook and send a question that way. Many ways to get in contact. Send your question in. Hopefully, Bray will be back.
I'll come back. Sure.
Yes.
Yep. We need some more questions, so send them through.
Yep.
They can be about anything. They don't have to be relationship questions.
Tell your friends. The Betty and the Beast show's back.
It's like your old, what was this thing? We used to ring Girlfriend and had those questions in there. We were too embarrassed to ask anyone else. You can ask us anything.
Yeah.
Health questions.
Bree has some health experience. If you're asking me, I'm just going to talk about BS, from what I've learnt from Joe Rogan and his podcast or something like that.
And we're both certainly no relationship experts, so any questions on anything?
Bree, you're way more successful than me. But that's been it. It's been fun. It's nice having you back, Bree.
Thanks. It's nice to be back.
Check us out, jimmishfam.com. Find us leave us a review on the iTunes store as Beating the Beast. It should be still up there. We'll catch you around. All right. Bye.
Bye.